Welcome back, everybody. We're on day 198 of our Bible in a Year series, continuing in Ecclesiastes. Good book. I've talked a little bit. We've only got 2 days left. It's a short book, but I've talked a little bit already about the idea of. I like looking at Ecclesiastes as kind of an apologetic type view, where the focus of Ecclesiastes is at least one of the focuses is talking about how, like, without God everything is just vain. Like, there's no real ultimate purpose. And so if you're going to have that view that there's no God, you can have that view, but then you have to wrestle with that. And I mean, some people say they're fine with that, but yeah, I think there's some problems there. But let's jump right in chapter 7 is where we are today. Excuse me. A good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of feasting, since that is the end of all mankind, and the living should take it to heart. Grief is better than laughter, for when a face is sad, a heart may be glad. The heart of the wise is in a house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in a house of pleasure. It is better to listen to rebuke from a wise person than to listen to the song of fools. For like the crackling of burning thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This too is futile. Surely a practice of extortion turns a wise person into a fool, and a bribe corrupts the mind. The end of a matter is better than its beginning. A patient spirit is better than a proud spirit. Don't let your spirit rush to be angry, for anger abides in the heart of fools. Don't say, "Why were the former days better than these?" since it is not wise of you to ask this. Wisdom is as good as an inheritance, as an advantage to those who see the sun, because wisdom is protection as silver is protection. But the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the life of its owner. Consider the work of God, for who can straighten out what he has made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider God has made the one as well as the other, so that no one can discover anything that will come after him. In my feudal life I have seen everything. Someone righteous perishes in spite of his righteousness, and someone wicked lives long in spite of his evil. Don't be excessively righteous, and don't be overly wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Don't be excessively wicked, and don't be foolish. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you grasp the one and do not let the other slip from your hand, for the one who fears God will end up with both of them. Wisdom makes the wise person stronger than 10 rulers of a city. There is certainly no one righteous on the earth who does good and never sins. Don't pay attention to everything people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you, for in your heart you know that many times you yourself have cursed others. I have tested all this by wisdom. I resolved I will be wise, but it was beyond me. What exists is beyond reach, the very deep, and very deep. Who can discover it? I turn my thoughts to know, explore, and examine wisdom and an explanation for things, and to know that wickedness is stupidity and folly is madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman who is a trap, her heart a net and her hands chains. Her heart a net and her hands chains. The one who pleases God will escape her, but the sinner will be captured by her. Look, says the teacher, I have discovered this by adding one thing to another to find out the explanation, which my soul continually searches for but does not find. I found one person in 1,000, but none of those was a woman. Only see this, I have discovered that God made people upright, but they pursued many schemes. Chapter 8. Who is like the wise person? And who knows the interpretation of a matter? A person's wisdom brightens his face, and the sternness of his face is changed. Keep the king's command because of your oath made before God. Do not be in a hurry to leave. Do not be in a hurry, leave his presence, and don't persist in a bad cause, since he will do whatever he wants. For the king's word is authoritative, and who can say to him, "What are you doing?" The one who keeps a command will not experience anything harmful, and a wise heart knows the right time and procedure. For every activity there is a right time and procedure. Even though a person's troubles are heavy on him, yet no one knows what will happen, because who can tell him what will happen? No one has authority over the wind to restrain it, and there is no authority over the day of death. No one is discharged during battle, and wickedness will not allow those who practice it to escape. All this I have seen, applying my mind to all the work that is done under the sun, at the time at a time when one person has authority over another to his harm. In such circumstances I saw the wicked buried. They came and went from the holy place, and they were praised. In the city where they did those things, this too is futile, because the sentence against an evil act is not carried out quickly. The heart of people is filled with the desire to commit evil. Although a sinner does evil 100 times and prolongs his life, I also know that it will go well with God-fearing people, for they are reverent before him. However, it will not go well with the wicked, and they will not lengthen their days like a shadow, for they are not reverent before God. There is a futility that is done on the earth. There are righteous people who get what the actions of the wicked deserve, and there are wicked people who get what the actions of the righteous deserve. I say that this too is futile. So I commended enjoyment, because there is nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat, drink, and enjoy himself. For this will accompany him in his labor during the days of his life that God gives him under the sun. When I applied my mind to know wisdom and to observe the activity that is done on earth, even though one's eyes do not close in sleep day or night, I observed all the work of God and concluded that a person is unable to discover the work that is done under the sun. Even though a person labors hard to explore it, he cannot find it. Even if a person claims to know it, he is unable to discover it. Chapter 9. Indeed, I took all this to heart and explained it all. The righteous, the wise, and their works are in God's hands. People don't know whether to expect love or hate. Everything lies ahead of them. Everything is the same for everyone. There is one fate for the righteous and the wicked, for the good and the bad, for the clean and the unclean, for the one who sacrifices and the one who does not sacrifice. As it is for the good, so also it is for the sinner. As it is for the one who takes an oath, so also for the one who fears an oath. This is an evil, and all that is done under the sun. There is one fate for everyone. In addition, the hearts of people are full of evil, and madness is in their hearts while they live. After that, they go to the dead. But there is hope for whoever is joined with the living, since a live dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they will die, but the dead don't know anything. There is no longer a reward for them, because the memory of them is forgotten. Their love, their hate, and their envy have already disappeared, and there is no longer a portion for them in all that is done under the sun. Go, eat your bread with pleasure, and drink your wine with a cheerful heart. For God has already accepted your works. Let your clothes be white all the time, and never let oil be lacking on your head. Enjoy life with the wife you love all the days of your fleeting life, which has been given to you under the sun, all your fleeting days, for that is your portion in life and in your struggle under the sun. Whatever your hands find to do, do with all your strength, because there is no work, planning, knowledge, or wisdom in Sheol where you are going. Again, I saw under the sun that the race is not the swift, or the battle to the strong, or bread to the wise, or riches to the discerning, or favor to the skillful. Rather, time and chance happen to all of them. For certain, no one knows his time, like fish caught in a cruel net, or like birds caught in a trap, so people are trapped in an evil time as it suddenly falls on them. I have observed that this also is wisdom under the sun, and it is significant to me. There was a small city with a few men in it. A great king came against it, surrounded it, and built large siege works against it. Now a poor wise man was found in the city, and he delivered the city by his wisdom. Yet no one remembered that poor man. And I said, wisdom is better than strength, but the wisdom of the poor man is despised, and his words are not heeded. The calm words of the wise are heeded more than the shouts of a ruler over fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner can destroy much good. And that is it for our reading for today. Into our questions. Question 1. And you'll see too, it continued on today and it'll continue on tomorrow. There's really this idea of wisdom and foolishness. And it continues, and that's kind of the dichotomy that's placed there. It's you're either wise or you're a fool. You're either going after wisdom or you're going after foolishness. All right, question 1. Ecclesiastes 7:13 says, "Consider the work of God, who can make straight, or who can make straight what he has made crooked." How should we respond when life doesn't go the way we expect or desire? I think this kind of ties into, we've talked about already, kind of the sovereignty of God, and the idea that God is ultimately in control. We can go back to things like, I've brought this one up a lot recently, in Romans 8, says that God makes all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So even when things don't go the way we plan or the way we want to, we can trust that God can still turn that situation. The actual events themselves may not be good. What you go through may not be good, but God can turn that around and use it for good. So understanding God is sovereign in everything, even with man's free will, God is still ultimately sovereign. Question 2. The teacher observes that the same event happens to all. Ecclesiastes 9:2, referring to death. How does this reality shape how we live in the present, especially in light of eternity? I've talked about this a little bit too the last couple of days. Christians should not have a mindset that is purely focused on the here and now. But you also don't want to be purely focused on eternity. There's a balance there. There's a saying, as a Christian, you need to be focused on eternity, but there's a saying, someone is too heavenly focused to be any earthly good. So if you're not focusing, and this kind of goes with like meeting people's needs, right? Somebody comes in and tells you that they're struggling. Let's say it's a single mom. She can't buy groceries for her kids. She doesn't know how she's going to pay her rent. Like, all this stuff is just piling on her. And you're like, well, I'll be praying for you. And you just dismiss it like that. Yes, prayer is a good thing, but also there's a physical need there that you could try to either meet or help meet or get her in contact with someone that can meet that need. So there's a balance. You don't want to be so focused on the here and now that you disregard eternity, but you also don't want to be so focused on eternity that you disregard the here and now. We have to be living in the here and now with a focus on the eternity as well. And it can be hard to get the balance right. Question 3. Wisdom is praised throughout these chapters, yet its limitations are also acknowledged. How do we balance the pursuit of wisdom with trust in God's sovereignty, especially when we don't have all the answers? I think it's good good to acknowledge up front that you're not going to have all the answers. It's good to acknowledge that you won't know everything, at least not in this life. There are things I know I'm not going to understand. I'm a fallible human being. I'm a limited being. I'm not. I am finite. My understanding is bound to this world and this lifetime, and so there are things that maybe are outside of this lifetime that I can't comprehend. The idea of like the Trinity. The Trinity is taught in Scripture. It's clearly taught in Scripture, but it can be difficult to wrap your head around. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that our understanding is currently lacking. There. So there's some things there kind of tying that in, accepting the fact that your understanding is flawed to some extent. Eventually, we will know in full, but for right now, we don't, and that's okay. You don't have to know everything. God doesn't want you to know everything. God doesn't want you to necessarily have everything figured out. He wants you to be obedient. He wants you to listen. He wants you to be willing. So, yeah. Tomorrow is the last day in Ecclesiastes. I almost butchered that. I don't know what's going on with me reading lately. Tomorrow's the last day in Ecclesiastes, and then we'll get into Song of Songs. It'll be another short one, and then into some interesting books. We'll start off with Isaiah and some good stuff there. So you're not going to want to miss that. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as all those things help the channel grow. If this has been a blessing to you, you can share it with somebody else. It can be a blessing to them, and word of mouth is the best way that podcasts grow as well. So that can be something that helps this channel as well. Come back every single day. We're going to have more content every single day. Bible reading plan. We're going through the Bible an entire year, different teachings, all kinds of just really great biblical sound stuff like that. So you're not going to want to miss it. Come back, subscribe. Thanks. God bless.